mistake I see is using lots of customizations without understanding the impact they have. Right. This is something I unfortunately encounter a lot. So when you start applying different rules that some may, override others, and yeah, I think in general it's better to have a minimalistic approach and start with less things applied, and maybe tweak things with time.
Welcome to RevLabs by PriceLabs.
Welcome to another episode of the RevLabs podcast, where we talk about everything revenue management. So if you work currently at a short-term rental company, vacation rental company, anything in between, and you handle a very large portfolio of listings, this podcast is for you. And today I'm talking with Joaquin. Joaquin will introduce himself, but he's someone who's an expert in revenue management. He works here at PriceLabs. But without further ado, let's just hear from him. Joaquin, hello, how are you?
Hello, Thibault. Very good. Thank you for the invite. Nice to be here.
You're welcome. You're welcome. It's great to have you here talk about RevLabs. Because obviously it's an English-speaking podcast, but we know that people throughout the world hear us, and you have a pretty international profile. So I'm very curious to know more about you. So could you basically introduce yourself?
Sure. I was born and raised in Argentina. My background is from the real estate. I started working at a real estate company as soon as I finished school. Then I would say in 2014, I traveled to Europe in a backpack trip at age 24. Visited a few cities, countries, arrived to Barcelona, fell in love with the city, decided to stay for a while. And 11 years later, here I am, still at Barcelona. And here I started working at property management companies. So my introduction to short-term rentals was here.
It's really great to hear, because it's a lot of experiences, right? And companies. In just a few minutes. So if we go back to revenue management, as we said, right? Because maybe some people listening to this are also thinking about getting started. So how about you? I guess you didn't go to school thinking about revenue management. So how did you fall into this, and why did you stay interested into the topic when you first discovered it?
Absolutely. So so here in Barcelona, I started working at a property management company, and started doing late check-ins, attending emergencies and guests at odd hours. And with time, I slowly progressed to taking other roles like reservations managers. And then I became a revenue manager for the company I was working for. I, of course, completed a formal training in revenue management for hotels, though always worked for short-term rental companies. I was also always interested in numbers, in data, and especially in helping people protect and increase their wealth. That was something I was already doing on the real estate, and with revenue management, I think it's essential, right? What we do there for companies. So while I was working at property management companies in Barcelona from 2015 to 2020, I also created a side hustle bringing investors from Argentina to purchase vacation rentals in Barcelona. So I would do everything like selecting the properties to buy, negotiated the terms with real estate agencies, assisted investors with, bringing the money internationally, opening bank accounts and managing all the bureaucracy. And afterwards, of course, I will keep those properties as a part of a small portfolio that I managed until recently.
Joaquin, I heard you say the word protect, and I found it very interesting indeed, right? Because usually when in revenue management, people talk about increasing revenue, right? When it comes, for example, to markets in downturn, it's also about protecting revenue at some point, right? Or making sure that even if the market goes down, your owners still have good revenue, which is basically, in a way, outperforming the market, even if it's protection is in this kind of case. Or protection, I guess, could also be done with length of stay, for example, this kind of thing. So, what are the cases again when you think revenue management has a lot to bring for protection?
Yeah, right. So, as a property manager, you have your main customer is the owner of the property, right? And you need to make them happy, and they will ask you for sure to increase your KPIs year over year, right? So people will invest in properties, in real estate, and as the property manager, you will need to protect that wealth that was invested into the property, and for that you will need to deliver good results, right? So that's what I mean with protection, right? You're protecting all the energy that is stored into the property. That's what I mean.
All right, so you worked for these companies in Barcelona, and then I guess you decided at some point to join PriceLabs. So I'm curious, what made you want to join PriceLabs, and what do you like about the job?
Yeah, so I was introduced to PriceLabs as soon as it became, famous, maybe in 2015, 2016. So I was already using PriceLabs for these companies. And then COVID hits, right, 2020. And of course, everything stopped. International flights were prohibited. And so at that time, I explored the PriceLabs website and applied for a role. So I joined PriceLabs in 2021. At that time, we were a team of only 15 people. And I started in customer support, which was actually the best way to learn about the product. I spent around 2 years in support, as helping our users from all over the world. And with time, I became a shift leader. I helped train new joiners. And after some time, I transitioned to the solution consultant role, where I work with large customers, mainly in Spain, in Argentina, but also in Eastern European countries such as Poland, Czech Republic, Hungary, and so on.
When you work with all these customers from across the world, what keeps it interesting to you, right? What makes you come every day to work and get excited?
Yeah, I love helping them. With time at PriceLabs, I develop the capability of looking at their data quickly and understand where things need to change, or where things are maybe broken and how to fix them, right? So yeah, I love interacting with customers from all around the world and be able to help them, basically.
And when you see these large customers, when you see the different portfolios, for example, what is the things you maybe look at first to get to know a client?
Do you mean personally or like their company and their portfolio?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. When you approach a new client, for example, I'm just curious, as a revenue management expert, do you look at the data in PriceLabs? You go to their website? How do you approach a new customer? I'm just curious.
Yeah, it depends, right? It depends if it's an outbound approach or inbound. But yeah, normally go into their website and learn a little bit about their company, where they are based out of, and what type of properties they manage. So then I can, be prepared for helping them straight away and offering them solutions.
And does it happen that sometimes you look at an account, we're getting started, and you're like, I see maybe not a mistake, but you immediately can pick up something, maybe going wrong. And what could it be? What do you see sometimes? Like, oh, it's maybe a common, not a mistake or an error or something that could be really improved.
Well, a common mistake I see is using lots of customizations without understanding the impact they have. Right. This is something I unfortunately encounter a lot. So when you start applying different rules that some may, override others, and yeah, I think in general it's better to have a minimalistic approach and start with less things applied, and maybe tweak things with time.
And now when it comes to large portfolios, you have like also advice then for them to perform better, or for example, are there tools within PriceLabs that you think are really, really beneficial to somebody who's got more than 100 listings?
Yeah, absolutely. So basically, I would say the main thing is to get the base price right at the beginning and start from less to more, I would say. So if you're not sure how to set up a base price or position your property in the market in terms of pricing, you should start by choosing a low starting point and increase over time as the reviews and the scores on the OTAs allows you. And then I would say it's crucial to go to portfolio analytics and understand how your properties are pacing and how you're pacing against the market and against last year. So being able to monitor those reports is crucial to take informed decisions into your pricing, into your strategy later.
So if people, for example, want to get to know you or contact you, what's the best way to reach out to you, Joaquin?
Yeah, they can write me at joaquin@pricelabs.co, or they can look at me at LinkedIn, Joaquin Lozada. I'm not very active, but I still behind my account there. Yeah, that will be the best.
Cool. That's it. So all the best to you. As recording this, it's the end of the year 2025. Are there anything you're expecting for 2026? Any big plans?
Yeah, well, I'm planning a lot of travel with the family next year, visiting part of the family in South America. So very excited for that.
Well, safe travels in 2026. Thanks for your time today. And as you heard this, you can contact Joaquin at PriceLabs.co. Very easy. Thanks again, Joaquin. Thank you, everybody, for listening, and see you soon for next episode of the RevLabs podcast. Take care.